Friday night in Athens as 10,000 fans pack inside Stegeman Coliseum to officially kick off a new era of Georgia gymnastics. The number 15 Gym Dogs get ready to take on the Boise State Broncos here in the Classic City. What an atmosphere tonight, including gymnastics royalty in the house, the greatest gymnast of all time, Simone Biles, to take in her former coach, making her debut as the head coach here in Athens, Georgia. And we welcome you inside Stegeman Coliseum, everyone. I'm Kevin Kopp, thrilled to be here alongside Georgia All-American Sarah Sailors. Sarah, you can feel the intensity, the enthusiasm, the passion in this building, and also we've got a big gymnastics meet tonight as number 15 Georgia gets set to take on Boise State. A lot of excitement.
The energy in this place is incredible. Together we are is the theme for this new era of Gym Dogs, setting out to do something that they haven't done in several years. The co-head coaches want to work together to restore this program to its storied history.
Well, you can feel this crowd trying to will them there, but let's talk about the coaches. That is the story, beginning with Cecile Cancuto-Landy, coming here with a decorated background at both the club and Olympic levels, making her NCAA coaching debut.
Some would say that she has reached the pinnacle of coaching in this sport, but she feels like she has so much more to do at the collegiate level, and Georgia just felt like the right place, the right time, and she could not be happier to be here and to continue her career in Athens.
Now, along with Coach Cancuto-Landy, we have Ryan Roberts, who is in his first season as co-head coach, but has spent the last 2 years here as an assistant, known as a terrific recruiter. He helped bring in the #1 ranked recruiting class in 2023, experience at the University of Alabama, now elevated to co-head coach.
He is the familiar face in the gym for these athletes, and he gives the girls so much confidence. They all praise him for that, and he's just excited to see this team get started.
And Boise State coming in here and trying to play spoiler in front of this Athens crowd. They've got some terrific gymnasts in their own right. They are the defending Mountain West national champions, the inaugural Mountain West champions, and Emily Lopez is the reigning gymnast of the year in the conference.
I mean, she is just incredible. We're excited to see some really big gymnastics from her tonight. This Boise State team has so much experience. They're really leaning on their senior class and that experience that they have under their belt to carry them through this competition.
This will be a great test for Boise State. They opened on the road in Seattle last week. Georgia was in Denver, but you come here in front of this environment, 10,000 fans. They've got a veteran head coach trying to steward them to another conference title and another run in the NCAA regionals this season. As we remind you, since this is the first meet of the year here in Athens, the dual meet format as Georgia and Boise State go head-to-head. 6 gymnasts per team will compete on each event. We'll count the best 5 and drop the lowest score. The team with the highest cumulative score wins. Georgia will go in home order or Olympic order. That's vault, bars, beam, and floor. Boise State will flip with Georgia on the first 2. They'll start on bars, go to vault, floor, and then finish on the balance beam. And so Georgia gets the night started on vault, and it will be Shenge Bashkai to get the evening underway here in Stegeman Coliseum.
She's leading off with a big Yurchenko 1.5. Tried to hold on to that stick, just a small step forward, but what a great way for this Gym Dog team to start, coming out with a few more 10.0 start value vaults this season. That's something that they've improved upon since last season. Let's look at her entry onto the table. A little bit of legs in the air. They'll take some for form, so close to getting that landing, but what a way to open up her career in Stegeman Coliseum.
Nebraska transfer, got her Georgia career started last week on the road, but competes her first home vault here, and you can see the vault lineup for Georgia, the bars lineup for Boise State on the right side of your screen, and Boise State will get the night underway on bars with sophomore Malia Werlein.
This is a bars group that is really comfortable on this event. They have beautiful gymnastics. You want to look at how they flow through their routines, really looking for swing. And of course, in college gymnastics, the name of the game is handstands and landings. Want to be within 10 degrees of that handstand on top of the bar. Double tuck, able to start her team off with a stick. Great job.
We can exhale just a bit, both teams with one routine out of the way, and we'll get another look here at the bars work for Werlein.
Beautiful stalder work, straight into that double tuck. And she said, I am not moving today.
Up second for Georgia on vault after Bashkai opened with that Yurchenko 1.5. This will be Nia Howard. Yurchenko layout full, so starting from a 9.95 start value instead of that 10.0 that Georgia had in the opening vault.
The key for her is controlling her power. She has so much of it. Watch the block off the table. Hop back on the landing, but a nice clean vault. Something they'll be happy to have under their belts.
Yeah, talking about control, certainly looked in control here.
Really squeezing tight, trying to just keep every 10th in their pocket that they possibly can.
Up second for Boise State on the uneven bars will be Carly Buell. Following the opening routine and hoping for another stuck landing, an exclamation point as Werlein was able to put on her opening routine. Just a moment to wait as the judges will give us their scores on the opening bars routine for Werlein.
Those sticks are fun and they can be contagious. As we say in gymnastics, one stick can lead to many, just as one fall can start to unravel things for your team. But great way to start off this bars rotation. And I love what Coach Bird said about this team. She said that in all her years of coaching, and this is her 18th season at the helm of Boise State Gymnastics, she said the last few months have been the most fun that she has ever had. And I just can't think of a better compliment for a team, just a testament to their chemistry and how hard they worked in the preseason. And it's going to be awesome to see how that translates onto the competition floor.
Well, you can look at the lineup construction for Boise State and the roster construction. They've got a really good mix. They've got some veteran presences. We've talked about Emily Lopez, who's in her 5th year. They've got some senior leadership on this team. Elena McGovern, a senior who has been a big contributor. You have Emma Loyam, a senior who was a multiple-time Mountain West champion last year. And then you've got some really promising underclassmen as well. We're going to see some freshmen and some sophomores as you see the judges get together here. We had a 10th-and-a-half split between the two judges, a 9-9 from one judge and a 9-7-5 from the other judge on that opening routine from Werlein. So they'll get together and confer here, and we'll see if we get a correction up or down in either direction. So just a little bit of an extra weight for Buell. And while we have a moment, Sarah, I know you talked about this a little bit, but give us some points of emphasis and what the judges are looking for as we move forward.
Judges first and foremost want to see handstands right on top of the bar within 10 degrees. Able to really lock the handstand out in a tight position. Releases, we're looking for big amplitude on the releases, and of course bar transitions, as well as the dismount. You want to fly high and nail that landing, keep that position, hold it. Give the judges no doubt that's a new deduction that they can take if you don't hold that landing position for at least a couple of seconds.
So Buell, after the long wait, ready to get underway as she begins her bars routine up second for Boise State.
She starts her routine with release moves in combination. A little loose on that overshoot to handstand. You want to see that back stay tight. Another short handstand. Let's see if she can get the stick. Gorgeous double layout, just the tiniest little hop forward. But once again, just a hit routine, something that they can start to really build on. Let's take another look at the start of her routine, opening up with that combination toe on to shapash, straight back down. Double layout to finish, and just the tiniest little hop forward.
Up third down for Georgia on vault after a 9-8 from Boschka and a 9-7-5 for Nia Howard. This is Jeffrey Scott.
Once again, Jeffrey is just going to do a Yurchenko full, but watch the power. Huge amplitude in the air. I don't think she needed to slide that foot back, but what a gorgeous vault. Really great to see her in this vault lineup. She had a wonderful showing last week, 9.875 on her vault. That was a career best. Let's take another look. The block off the table, stretch position in the air, just the small foot shuffle. She wanted to hold on to that so bad. You saw the little eye roll. She wanted it.
Well, and Sarah, exactly what you said. Because of that change in the code a couple of seasons ago, now really having to hold that position, that's one that you would have had and then just kind of step into the salute, the college stick as it was informally known. Now that you've got to hold it, there's nowhere to hide in that little shuffle. We'll get a small deduction, but I thought a very good Yurchenko full from Jeffrey Scott.
I agree. Really wonderful. Long gone are the days of the college stick. There's no more finessing that landing, something that I think people got a little bit too good at. That's That's why they had to do the rule change.
And again, 9.875 last week, a career high on vault, but that's coming from that 9.95 start, so less than a tenth of deduction between those two judges last week out in Denver as Georgia opened as part of a quad meet. Just a shade below a 196 team score. Boise State opened just above a 195 team score in their first meet. Both teams looking to improve here as Georgia comes home for the first time. Noelle Ball, another freshman in this Boise State roster. We'll see two in the bars lineup along with Christina Shenikova up fifth. Here is Noelle Ball.
Noelle works with such beautiful lines. You can really see the extension. A hair over on that half turn, that will be a deduction. Again, looking for those handstands. Full in dismount, hop back. I mean, you have to praise the freshman for getting out in front of such a rowdy crowd to open up her career on this event. And you want to see that body position in the air, maybe get a little bit tighter tuck so that she can really drop down and find that landing. But what a great showing for her.
Back over to Georgia on vault. Now another 10-0 start value here. Yurchenko 1.5 from the graduate transfer Anaya Smith. She has gone 9.95 in her career at Arizona State, and here to bring the veteran presence to the Georgia Gym Dogs roster.
Just a little shy on that landing, maybe holding back a bit. Normally that vault is just super powerful from her. Sometimes if you're trying to go for that stick, you under-rotate. The judges would rather see you over-rotate. She's flirting with that out-of-bounds line as well.
You see the score come in for Jeffrey Scott, a 9-8. Both teams struggling to build on, I thought, really good opening routines. That first vault from Boschkai, that first bars routine from Warline, Buell and Ball haven't quite got back in that range. We'll see what the scores are for Ball. And now Victoria Smirnov is trying to bounce back after a difficult first bars routine of the season. Counted a fall last week out in Seattle, and now trying to bounce back here in Athens in week 2.
I always say it's kind of a blessing in disguise when you have those early mistakes early in the season, because it just teaches you how to be resilient and can teach you a lot about yourself, a lot about your gymnastics. So great opportunity for her here to get back out and see how she can improve. Shapash to pack salto. Check this out. She has a really cool dismount where she does an inverted giant to the double front. Sizable hop on the landing, but really cool that she goes for that unique difficulty with the inverted giant. That's a lot of shoulder flexibility.
Yes.
Take another look here. You can see how her hands are turned inward on the bar and she goes straight into the double front.
As Sarah can attest, much harder than she made it look there.
Everything that you see tonight is much harder than you think.
It's a good blanket rule. Nyla Aquino, speaking of freshmen, she gets to make her Stegman Coliseum debut here on the vault, and an unusual vault here with the soup full.
Such a cool entry, something you don't see a ton. I have seen her nail that vault so many times. Just getting out those jitters. Her first performance in Stegman Coliseum, has to take that hop back, but really fun to see a unique vault like that in this Georgia lineup. Check it out, round off onto the horse, and she really stretches the body out, almost flares it at the end. That is not easy to do.
Yeah, it's really pretty. To be able to get that block off the table with the Suk entry instead of the Yurchenko, that's a real weapon there for Georgia. As you talked about upgrading the difficulty in those vaults, 4 10-0 starts for Georgia. And now another freshman as the theme continues here of underclassmen in our first rotation, Christina Shenikova, up 5th on the bar. She had a 9.775 last week in her collegiate debut.
Christina has a very unique look on the bar. As you can see, she's taller, has really long, beautiful lines. Gorgeous toe point. Huge Jaeger. bar work almost looks poetic as she sets up just the dismount left. Double tuck. Finds that stick. There we go, getting back on track. I love how this Boise State team, they talk about breaking Bronco records. So that doesn't mean just in the scorebook, but they try to compete with themselves every week. How many sticks can we get? How many handstands can we hit? It's a great way to kind of keep tabs and get better every week. Beautiful dismount from her.
And terrific routine for the freshman. She looked like a multi-year veteran there, and you can see now that we have 4 scores in for each team. The score shaded in the lighter gray is the score that would be dropped. Again, we're going to count 5 scores, drop the lowest, so those are the lowest at the moment.
Addie Wall capping us off with Yurchenko 1.5. So much power once again, has to take that slide forward, but like we said, the judges would much rather see an over-rotated vault as opposed to an under-rotated. That is something that I'm sure she will improve on as the season goes on. She's another one that can really find that stick.
You mentioned the judges would rather see it. I think coaches would rather see it right now because you're only in the 3rd week of the season, 2nd meet for both of these teams. Time to refine the landings as the season goes on, but you want to see at this point in the season where we are in mid-January, big gymnastics. If you're going to err on a side, that's the side you want to err on.
Absolutely. There's a lot of endurance that comes with an NCAA gymnastics season. Many months of gymnastics to come, and these athletes are competing week in and week out. So having too much power, that's what you want to see.
As we wait for Emily Lopez, the 5th year, to anchor Boise State on bars, a look at the season outlook. They were picked number 1 in the conference once again in the Mountain West, hoping to defend their title. And we talked about that trifecta of Lopez, Loyam, and McGovern, the upperclassmen, hoping to lead them back there to another Mountain West title and a deeper run in NCAA regionals this year. Lopez, fun one to watch on bars.
She has so many accolades underneath her name, and you can see why. She's got high-flying release moves, works with a sharpness on bars that's really commendable. Setting up for her dismount double layout. Oh, she was holding on so tight for that landing. Had to take that step backwards, but I mean, just dynamic bar work from her. Take a look again at this release move. Big piked Jaeger. Holding those handstands, setting up double layout. Just so close to holding on to that. Great work.
We will also have exhibition routines tonight for both teams in most of our events, and we'll begin with Nicole King. This won't count toward the team score, but great competition experience.
And something that I think that they would love to have in their lineup later on. She has a gorgeous Yurchenko layout full. Great body position in the air.
See, as these exhibition routines take place, we're still waiting for those final scores to come in, and then the score in gray will be the dropped scores. So Georgia's going to try to improve and should improve on that 9.675 from Smith, and I expect likewise Boise State will improve by maybe a 10th or so, with Emily Lopez replacing the 9.75 from Noelle Ball. So there you go, Addie Wall, 9.825, and Georgia with a 49 flat on vault. Doesn't match what they did last week, 49.3 on vault in Denver, which was the 4th best vault average through the first 2 meets of the season across the NCAA. I know the coach is very excited about the way they started on vault. Fine start here tonight for Georgia.
Yeah, great start. I think it's something to definitely be proud of. All the mistakes were really minor things that they can build on.
Emily Lopez will get the final score for Boise State on the other side of this break. 1 rotation in the books here at Stegman Coliseum. Back with more after this. 1 rotation in the books at Stegman Coliseum. Georgia getting ready to move to the uneven bars as Boise State will be on vault in rotation number 2. Kevin Kopp, Sarah Saylor is with you here in Athens as the Gym Dogs honor their 2005 national champion team, the first of those 5 consecutive titles under head coach Suzanne Yocklin. Sarah, one of the great eras in Georgia gymnastics. I know it's an alumni night that you were a part of as well, but exciting to see the team back out here as well.
I mean, it's always fun to experience a past championship being in the building, maybe bring a little magic, and that is something that all of the girls competing on the floor right now are looking forward to, maybe making history for themselves.
Well, you're talking about that magic. Cecile Kukwentu-Landy and Ryan Roberts trying to lead Georgia there this year, and we had the chance to catch up with some of the Georgia gymnasts to talk about the dynamic of having 2 co-head coaches here in Athens.
Well, they're both amazing coaches. They bring their own knowledge and skills, which I think is good for our team. They're both very different, and they have their different ideas, but they complement each other so well and balance out the team. And I think this is like the puzzle piece that we were missing, and I think that it's perfect.
Honestly, Cecile's very laid back. Like, she's so chill. Like, she'll like dance with us and stuff. Like, she makes it feel like you're not in practice sometimes. So I just enjoy it, like, and embrace it, because not many coaches are gonna be like that engaging with you. I didn't even know she was Simone Biles' coach at first. So I didn't know what to expect. But when I first met her, when she first came in before the Olympics, I knew that, like, she's the one for us. Like, she has us and we're in good hands.
Well, clearly no intimidation factor for Nia Howard. That's probably the best way to go into it, but Cecile Cancuto-Landy bringing all that experience, but you can tell the team just loves her approachability, the demeanor that she brings, as well as the repertoire and the experience and the accolades.
I mean, anytime you have a coach that can bring a sense of calmness and kind of relieve their athletes, you can see that these gymnasts feel really comfortable working under her and really respect the knowledge and the accolades that she brings to the table.
Bringing a new perspective to Athens, along with Ryan Roberts, who is elevated from assistant coach to co-head coaches, and the dynamic really seems to be paying off well for the team, Sarah.
Absolutely. He just brings a lot to this team. The girls say that they can go to him and say, hey, can I do this? And he's the guy that's going to tell you absolutely you can, and just instill that confidence.
Cecile, Ryan, and the Gym Dogs head to bars, Boise State to vault, when we come back to Stegman Coliseum.
Ball way off.
Start of the second rotation, here we go. Boise State with the opening vault. Sydney Coe, the junior, gets the Broncos started in the second rotation, Sarah.
Nice Yurchenko full. Once again, just fighting for those landings. That's going to be the name of the game. And Boise State only has 2 10-0 start values on this vault rotation, so if the Gym Dogs are looking for an area to find some separation, this might be their chance, but a really strong Yurchenko full to start off this team.
See the overall team scores at the end of one rotation at the bottom of your screen. Georgia with a 49 flat. Boise State opens just over a tenth above Georgia with a 49-125 on bars. Georgia had a terrific bar set last week in Denver, number 2 in the NCAA on this event, and Nia Howard, the junior, will get it started.
This Gym Dog team has a lot of trust in Nia to start them off. Huge release combination to get her routine going. Giant folded double tuck to finish. Hop forward, but man, those release moves, the way that she starts off this routine is just so incredible. The height that she gets, just flying over the bar. A lot of times you'll see athletes work with a little bit more finesse on the bars, but she works with so much power.
Georgia as a team 49-350 last week on bars. That's where they finished. It was a quad meet, began on beam, had some struggles there, got better as the meet went on with that 49-3 on vault, 49-3-5 on bars. So feeling good as they come here this week and get to swing at home. Meanwhile, Elena McGovern, the senior, another one of those veterans, a returner from last year's Mountain West champion team in 2024, will get her night started.
So great.
The score for Sydney Coe.
Yeah, so great to just, I mean, we keep saying it, but to have all of these returners. Coach Bird said that her athletes are coming to her asking, can we all take a 5th year? I mean, the love that they have for this sport and the way that they just want to keep going and keep building and doing it together, I think that's just really admirable.
And you can tell just the joy that she has when talking about this group and this team. They've got a chance to do something really special. They lost on a tiebreaker in the first round of the NCAA regionals. They'd love to make a deep run this year, and they've got the talent to do it. Here's McGovern.
Super cool vault. She does a full on to a pike off, something that we don't see a ton in NCAA gymnastics. Let's take another look at the entry. You see that she does a full twist, pikes it around, just a little bit of knees, a little bit of trying to hold that landing. Does a great job.
Meanwhile, over on the bars, it's another Stegman Coliseum debut. There are two true freshmen in the Georgia lineup on bars. Sadie Jane Berry up second, and Emma Mason behind her will make not just her Stegman debut, her collegiate debut next. Here's Berry.
To go against Naya's power, you'll see Sadie really float her release moves straight down with the pack salto. She's another one that has just such long, beautiful lines. Great handstand, stalder work. Holds the landing. What a way to start your bars campaign in Stegman Coliseum. There's just nothing better than hearing the crowd erupt when you nail that landing.
And not fazed by the moment at all. She delivers here. See the opening vault score come in for Sydney Coe is a 9.7. Slight improvement over her score last week. We'll see if that continues for McGovern. And now freshman Bridget Kemp.
Bridget is going to do a Yurchenko layout half. Her coaches say that she's actually capable of a 1.5, but they just want to get a few more numbers under her belt in the gym before they transfer that onto the competition floor. And you could see she had a pretty sizable hop forward on that landing, so showing that power, showing the capability to upgrade that vault later in the season.
And a change in the vault lineup. Unfortunately, Elena McGovern was actually scratched late out of the vault lineup, so Boise State is going to go 5 up here, so all 5 scores will count for the Broncos. That's Coe, Ball, Kemp, Voulage, and Lopez in the anchor position, so a little bit of additional pressure. Meanwhile, over on bars, debut for Emma Mason, who did not compete last week for Georgia.
The coaches worked with the composition of her routine a little bit. She's capable of doing so many skills, so it's a little bit of a puzzle piece to piece together a routine that really works for her. And she said she feels the most comfortable doing this one, so putting it out here this week, handling it great so far. Just the dismount left, double tuck. Once again, just that small step back on the landing, but beautiful showing. Look here, locking that handstand out on top, finishing double tuck dismount. Sometimes it's a little bit of a strategy to go with the easier double tuck dismount and try to nail that landing every time, so something that her team will really be counting on as the season moves on.
And so Georgia halfway home on bars. Back over to vault now for Boise State.
Another one of those full-on pike-off vaults. Great landing from her. It's such a difficult entry. I mean, I get dizzy just watching it. Pretty cool. That full twist on and then tight form in the air. Just the smallest shuffle of the feet, but a wonderful vault from her.
And again, a little extra pressure on all these vaults as Boise State does not have the luxury of dropping a score, but handling themselves so far. Now over to Addie Wall, who had a 9.875 to open her season last week on the uneven bars. Time for the 25th highest score in Division I through 2 weeks.
Yeah, not a bad way to start off your bars campaign for the year. She opens up with a combination of the Shapash down pack salto. Doing those release moves in combination, of course, can earn you bonus to get to that 10.0 start value. Double layout. I think I saw the tiniest little shuffle. We'll see what the judges want to do with that, but she was holding on with all of her might. Check again the pack salto. And remember, the judges are on the side, so you see a tiny bit of leg separation. They can't always see that from their angle, but one thing they can see is the landing. Great double layout in the air. I mean, just a little toe move.
Well, the crowd certainly didn't see it, given the reaction. But yes, just that little tiny pickup with the right foot there.
The crowd still remembers the college stick. They know how to celebrate.
That's right. Emily Lopez in the anchor position for Boise State.
Chinko full, really clean in the air. just a nice solid vault, and she is so reliable in this lineup. Strong entry on the table. You can see that she just squeezes those legs together in the air, really focusing on that form. Of course, with just the 9.95 start value, you have to really steal every little tenth that you can get. Make sure the judges don't take it.
Well done by Boise State to handle the loss of McGovern in that vault lineup. And now Georgia over on bars. 2 routines left that will count toward the team competition score, beginning with Holly Snyder.
Check out these release moves. Try to keep your jaw off the floor. She flies so high. Double tuck dismount. I mean, she looks like she could just take off, rocket ship from these bars. She just works with so much amplitude, something that really sets her apart from the rest of the lineup. Gorgeous gymnastics to watch.
Went as high as 9.925 as a freshman last season. You could see why. She'll be back in that rarefied air plenty of times this season with routines like that.
Boom. Great job.
And one more to come for Georgia, which will be Jeffrey Scott in the anchor position. Also expecting an exhibition from Shenge Bashkai. Will be at the midpoint of tonight's competition, so a little bit of extra time here for Jeffrey.
Now I have to say that Jeffrey is able to fly just as high. She has gorgeous bars work. She's actually capable of so many skills. That she's another one that kind of had to pare down and figure out, okay, which skills am I going to take onto the college competition. She has so much talent, just really brings a lot of unique gymnastics to this Georgia team.
Shared a bars title last week at the Denver quad meet, opened with a 9.9. Here she is in Stegman, and oh my goodness, the height on that Tkachev.
Just giant toe on Tkachev, straight down to the low bar, once again working those combination skills. I mean, look at that, just gorgeous gymnastics. So much fun to watch in this anchor position. Wow. They'll take that.
An electric finish to rotation 2 for Georgia. Holly Snyder and Jeffrey Scott deliver. Simone Biles looking on. This crowd fired up. Coming up, we'll get to look behind the scenes at Simone Biles' tour of the Classic City. Cecile Cancuto-Landi makes her debut and gets to welcome Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast of all time, to Athens for a exclusive tour, Sarah, around the Classic City, bringing her husband Jonathan Owens, safety for the Chicago Bears in the NFL, and a really cool experience for Simone and her husband to get to see some parts of the University of Georgia and of Athens and get to have the college experience that she didn't really get to have, obviously, having the decorated Olympic career that she had. Really fun to get to see her take advantage of all that the college campus has to offer here at Georgia.
I mean, she has done just about everything that you can possibly do in this sport, but you're right, didn't experience college gymnastics, so I'm sure that she's enjoying getting to be a little bit of an honorary member here as she gets to join her former head coach on the floor.
How neat to see these two who combined for gold medals, Olympic championships, to come here and get to share Cecile's new home with Simone Biles. And you look at the resume, there is no doubt that she is the greatest of all time, the most decorated gymnast in the history of the sport. 11-time gold medalist, 30-time world champion. There's just not enough space on this graphic, Sarah, to fill her accolades and everything that she has meant to this sport.
Not enough space and not enough thank yous. I mean, I would say that every athlete that does gymnastics wants to just say thanks for what you've done for us. It's incredible.
Special way to begin Cecile Cancuto-Landi's tenure here. Simone looking on. We'll take a break. More to come from Athens when we return. Back here inside Stegman Coliseum, Simone Biles getting ready to call the dogs in front of this home crowd. It has been a delight to get to share some of her behind-the-scenes exploits here in Athens. And again, this is something that she never got to do, but you get to be a part of this crowd, this atmosphere, a neat moment for both the Georgia crowd and for Simone Biles as well.
I I wonder what made her more nervous, competing at the Olympics or having to call the dogs in front of a pretty rowdy Georgia crowd.
Oh, she is standing by, ready to go. She looks at ease no matter where you put her, to be fair. She's got command of the room, whatever she's doing.
With as much experience as she has in the sport and really becoming a celebrity because of all of her success, I can't imagine that she's too scared to do too much of anything.
If there's a small part of her that says, you know what, I could have also been the most decorated NCAA gymnast of all time if I had just gone that slightly different route. And now the crowd has woken up to what's going on here as she's on the big screen here in the arena, and a standing ovation from 10,000 fans for a national hero, Simone Biles, and it is deafening here inside Stegeman Coliseum.
I mean, it's pretty cool. That is a pretty cool moment.
Now Simone officially to be adopted into her new Georgia community as she gets the honor of, alongside her husband, Jonathan Owens, getting to call the dogs here in Stegeman Coliseum.
That's
very good. Welcome to Georgia. Officially a Bulldog now, a gym dog, Simone Biles. Sarah, let's catch up on everything that we've seen so far. A lot of great gymnastics. Let's start with the highlights for the first rotation. Georgia on vault, Boise State on bars.
Georgia bringing a lot of 10.0 start values to this vault lineup this year, just needing to refine those landings. As does Boise State over on the bars, had a few sticks, some really exciting moments, big gymnastics. But of course, both teams looking to capitalize on getting back in the gym and just fixing those tiny little mistakes.
High score on bars, Emily Lopez, a 9.875 to cap off the first rotation for Boise State. In the second, Georgia on bars, first Boise State on vault.
Unique vaults in that Boise State lineup, so fun to watch. Really cool gymnastics, bringing a little bit of a different look.
And then Georgia on bars actually upped their total, which was second in the country a week ago with a 49.375 on bars, and they closed really strong.
They were finding the landings and just doing some high-flying release moves. Amplitude, power, just the whole package from this Georgia bars lineup.
Capped off by a 9.925 score from Jeffrey Scott in the anchor position, and Georgia has surged into the lead. A meet summary, Boise State with the lead at the end of one rotation by just over a tenth, highlighted by that 9.875 from Emily Lopez. And then in the second rotation, between the 5 vaults for Boise State, only the 2 10-0 starts, not able to match some of the scoring as Georgia goes high on their bar scores with a 49.375, and they've got the lead here as we get ready to go underway in rotation number 3.
Just really great work from both of these teams, and amazing to see Boise State be able to really step up and go 5 vaults, 5 count, and just keep the meet moving.
There are your third rotation lineups. Georgia on the beam, Boise State on floor. Nia Howard leading things off. She struggled last week, an uncharacteristic fall. They've got complete confidence in her to bounce back and lead things off this week.
No problems tonight, capping off with her gainer full dismount. I think her fall really shook up the team last week. I mean, first event out, starting the new season, you really want to start off with a bang, and for her to come off of the apparatus, the rest of the lineup really had to kind of find their center and get things back together. No problems tonight.
No, and you know, I know the adage, Sarah, is you've got to do all 4 anyway, but no one is signing up to start in a quad meet on beam, let alone your very first meet of the season. Georgia got handed a tough set of cards, and it hurt them a little bit last week, but they are poised for a bounce back here. Meanwhile, over to floor, senior Alyssa Boulage will lead things off.
And they love having her in this leadoff position. Starting her routine off with that connection pass. Things to look for on floor. Athletes are gonna have to do 2 saltos in connection. You're gonna look for leaps and jumps with full 180-degree split, really working those feet to get all the way around. Coming into this season, there's a big conversation around judging and getting those start values, and a big area on floor that you have to really work to get that start value is the leaps, jumps, and turns. Double pike. Great to see the endurance so early in the season. We mentioned it's a long season, and sometimes starting off those floor routines, you really have to kind of find your footing, but she looks to have it well under control. Take another look at that combo pass, 1.5 to front full. And finishing with her double pike. Love her sharpness, how she really tries to command those landings.
Back over to beam now, sophomore Zora Morgan. Did not compete last week in the lineup for the first time this season.
And she spent much of last season in that number 7 spot, just really trying to work her way into this lineup. Did several exhibitions, spent a lot of time as the alternate. So I know that she's really proud of earning that number 2 spot in the lineup. Such a beautiful beam worker, really showcasing lots of flexibility. Gorgeous leaves, just a small balance check. Just the dismount left. She finishes with the round off 1.5. Small hop on the landing. Good to see her in the lineup, really trying to make her mark.
She went as high as 9.875 last season when she was able to get into that competition lineup, and again, only going to get better with more experience as this year goes on.
Always a crowd pleaser with her mount, starting with a split and nice dismount to finish.
Up second on floor, Anna Ferguson, and an update to the Boise State lineup. Unfortunately, McGovern has been scratched again, so not expecting to see her tonight. Difficult adjustment here for Boise State, so they will slide up Pascal and Loyam into the 4th and 5th spots, and Sydney Leach, who was scheduled to exhibition, now up in the 6th position for Boise State.
For Anna Ferguson, she's actually much newer to this lineup, so not a lot of experience on floor under her belt, and I believe that was a mistake to start off her routine. Usually she does a front layout to a 1.5. She only did a half there. Double tuck, Nice finish.
See Boise State last week on floor, 48.950, just a shade off of that 49.
Yeah, that opening tumbling pass, it looked like she maybe just got a little bit off, but finishes really strong with the double tuck.
Back over to beam, freshman Brooke Lechowski. Took a fall last week, looking to bounce back here at home as Nia Howard did with that opening 9.75.
She uses almost the entire length of the beam on that triple series. Unfortunately, comes off again. Good news for this Georgia lineup is they really have a lot of depth on the balance beam. They have several athletes in the 7, 8, 9 spot who can jump in at any point. So maybe as this freshman really gains her confidence and refines her routine as she moves out the season, there's always another athlete. They have that next man up mentality. So just the dismount left for her. 1.5. Pretty sizable jump on the landing, but nothing that you can't get back in the gym and really work out. Of course, being in front of this crowd, competing in segment for the first time as a freshman, it's a lot to take in.
Certainly not the start that she would have hoped for through these first 2 weeks, but you can see the talent and the skill that she has brought with her here as a freshman. Speaking of, Bridget Kemp, freshman, up third for Boise State on floor exercise. And the judges are conferring over on the side about the floor routine from Anna Ferguson, and I expect, Sarah, it's that first pass again with the half instead of the 1.5, what deduction that is going to, or what effect that's going to have on the start value.
Yeah, that's definitely going to take her start value down, but I mean, sometimes it's just that split-second decision you have to make in the air. When something feels off, it's better to be a little bit safe than sorry. Maybe take the bigger deduction, avoid the bigger deduction on the start value, maybe to avoid maybe an injury or something like that if you just don't feel 100% comfortable in the air. It actually takes a lot of talent, a lot of air awareness to make that split-second decision. I mean, imagine flying through the air and being like, oh, nope, not gonna do that extra full today. So good on her for being able to just kind of stay on her feet and finesse out of it. Simone looking on. I can imagine this is quite the atmosphere to kind of jump into and really be immersed in.
As a gymnast, do you feel like any additional pressure when you have someone like that with her stature in the sport sitting, she's 15, 20 feet from the beam when you're up there? Would that just creep into the back of your mind a little bit?
I think every athlete might have a different outlook on it. I think for me personally, I probably would use it as a little bit of a motivation. I tended to enjoy the added eyes, a little added pressure. I thought that was fun, but I mean, how could you not just be starstruck when you look over and see Simone Biles standing there? That's just awesome.
See, that's why you're an All-American. I would have crumbled to dust. I was walking by her in the concourse and felt weak in the knees. You know, you're just in the presence of history and greatness. And
I certainly don't blame you. I mean, the accolades
to us mere
under
mortals. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, really fun to see the way that she has embraced this Georgia program, getting to be reunited with her former coach, and now after the long wait for Ferguson's score, look like we're about ready to resume on floor exercise. Talk about nerves and pressure. It's not fun to be standing there in front of the packed student section just waiting and waiting to get your chance to compete here, and we'll see how Kemp is able to handle it.
Just have to take everything as a lesson. You never know later down the road, maybe in postseason when you're going to have a long wait before your routine, but the great athletes are able to just turn it on when the hand goes up and you step onto the floor. She opens up with a huge full in. So the first E-pass that we'll see. Handles it great. Very controlled landing. As if the transition from Junior Olympic to college gymnastics isn't a lot already. I mean, performing floor routines in college is kind of a whole nother ball game. There's a bit of showmanship that goes into it, and judges are actually able to deduct from the routine if they don't think that you are really selling your dance. So that's another thing to pay attention to. Looks like she just got a little bit lost in the air as well, maybe. A little bit of trouble on that takeoff. That's a requirement to do those 2 salto elements in a row. So front layout to the 1.5, but of course didn't get the 1.5 to her feet and didn't quite get it all the way around. So there'll be a deduction for the fall as well as not completing the element.
So unfortunately now Boise State suffering their first real setback of the meet. You see the 9.05 from Ferguson, even though it didn't fall, but missing that element as part of her first pass. That was out of a 9.4 start value, so that was a big miss for her, and now Boise State in effect counting a fall. As we go back to beam, Georgia hoping to avoid that here. They need 3 hit routines beginning with Anya Turner.
Anya is another athlete who has a gorgeous triple series right at the top of the routine. Here we go. Wonderful. She became a mainstay in this Georgia beam lineup last season. Her teammates really trust her. You can see how she works with so much grace and precision, really using those arms with sharpness on the beam. It's actually pretty calming watching her, I have to say. Finishing her dismount 1.5 twist. Tiniest little hop on the landing. Really great routine from her. Check out this triple series one more time. Lay out, pulls it right up. Finishing with a smile, of course. That's so wonderful. Does the smallest shuffle on the landing. Excellent beam work from her.
Trying to get Georgia back on track. They need 2 more hit routines. And Boise State, unfortunately, has hit a rough patch on floor, and this is where they would have their senior Emma McGovern instead scratched from the floor lineup. They do have senior in Blake Pascal moving up into this 4th position, trying to get Boise State back on track.
Well, if there's anyone that you want to help get back on track, it's a senior, a lot of experience under her belt. Double tuck to open. Control through that pass. You'll notice that Blake is actually the first in the lineup to complete 3 passes. That's something else that's a little bit newer in college gymnastics. A lot of athletes opting for those 2 pass routines and getting a lot of their difficulty for their start value from the leaps and jumps. She goes for the 3 passes and a nice solid routine from her.
Important for Boise State to get a reset there, and Pascal able to give it to him.
See, she sets up with that first pass double tuck, holding on to that landing, and then, of course, going into her combination pass 1.5 punch layout. Love how she flows that layout, a lot of control.
Over to Jeffrey Scott, opened her season with a 9.775 last week on the beam at Denver.
We saw her fly high on the bar. She has quite a unique routine on the beam as well. Check this out. She does some front handspring work, but that's pretty fun in combination. Front handspring to back handspring layout series. You want to see those arms keep moving through the front handspring. Another key thing that the judges are searching for. Continuous movement. Leave no doubt that you're getting those connections. Showcasing incredible flexibility. Here we go, the moonwalk.
Crowd favorite and a little extra special on alumni night with some of the alums that were a part of that tradition. She's the 8th gymnast to do it over, gosh, close to 20 years now.
Pretty cool tradition to carry on. Front handspring to front full dismount. What an incredible routine. Let's take another look at that moonwalk. I mean, just a guaranteed crowd eruption. It's so fun. You think you could do that, Kevin?
I couldn't do it on the floor, let alone on a beam. Also, the difficulty of that series, the front handspring into the back twisting elements, having to keep that fluidity, like you said, the hands moving, the arms, there's just, that routine is loaded. There is just so much in there, and obviously a crowd pleaser. That's a good one.
She has so many cool tricks up her sleeve.
Another veteran, Emma Loyam, senior on floor for Boise State. She is the reigning Mountain West floor champion.
It's easy to see why she works with so much power in this routine, starting off with a whip to a double back instead of the traditional back handspring you'll see from a lot of athletes. Of course, adding a little bit of difficulty there.
Loyam, the champion on floor, also champion on the balance beam. She'll be in the beam lineup next as well.
Just such a fun athlete to watch. And of course, Emma is a twin. So pretty fun fact, her twin Hannah is over at Iowa State, and they will get to compete against each other later this weekend. So Boise State has essentially a double header, but pretty fun to be able to go up against your twin. Finishes her routine with a double pike. Great work. Take one more look at that last tumbling pass, finishing up with a double pike. Just such strong tumbling, really is the whole package.
Back-to-back hits for Boise State. Now in the anchor position on beam, Lily Smith. Opened her season last week in Denver with a 9.9 on this event, and she is terrific to watch.
The lines and the precision that Lily works with. It's absolutely stunning to watch. This is a newer series for her, front aerial to back tuck, of course. Keeping those arms moving, that's the key. Leave no doubt that that series is a connection.
Recovering from a hand injury, you put in that element and say, you know what, I'm doing this so well, I'm just gonna keep it in there.
Lily, of course, was able to compete for Georgia on the NCAA stage as an individual last season. Went on to the national championships. Just gorgeous front toss. routine truly is poetry in motion. Just the dismount left, gainer full off the side. Exclamation point.
Outstanding routine from Lily Smith to cap off the beam rotation for Georgia. She'll also get to anchor floor.
I mean, check this out. Just front aerial right into the back tuck. Every move leaves no doubt in your mind, and then just boom, nails that landing. Her teammates are calling for a 10. I'm not so sure they're going to give it to her tonight, but I mean, just a really gorgeous routine and a good way to kind of pull this beam lineup back so that they can drop that low score.
She has got this crowd whipped up into a frenzy as well as the 10 signs and chants come out. This is as loud as they've been outside of Simone Biles calling the dogs here in Athens. Back over to floor amidst the chaos, Sydney Leach.
Opening up her routine with a double pike. We talk about that next man up mentality. She is one that has been working hard to get in this lineup and able to show up big for Boise State tonight, jumping in.
Crowd not going to get what they wanted, but they'll settle for a 9-9 from Lily Smith to cap off a 49-1 for Georgia on beam.
Oh, not able to pull that double tuck around. There's that endurance that you're talking about.
Well, again, Leach moving up from that exhibition position with the scratch to McGovern and a tough floor rotation here for Boise State. Georgia able to extend their lead as the Gym Dogs go 49 plus on beam. We're going to dive into Georgia's team culture and get you set for the final rotation from Athens after this. For 10 NCAA titles, and they've got Cecile and Ryan trying to lead the way.
Exactly. The co-head coaches feel that it is going to take some time, but I would have to think they're happy with the way that things are getting started here. And of course, just the crowd backing them and the energies that is in this Coliseum. I'm sure the athletes can feel it, and they're doing a great job.
Now, interestingly, there are no captains on this 2025 Georgia team, but they've got a shared culture that this entire team is brought into. But together we are, and we're going to take a look at what that means to the Gym Dogs now.
Yes, our theme this year is Together We Are. We do like this thing. So it's like Together We Are, and then every gymnast can fill in the blank. So like you could say, Together we are determined. Together we have a purpose. So it just really creates this thing of like, no matter what we're gonna do, we're gonna be together and we're gonna do it.
Together we are.
What does that mean?
It means that together we are strong, together we're determined. All the positive aspects, together we trust each other, go behind, together we are.
Well, and together, 10,000 fans lighting up Stegman Coliseum, getting ready for the fourth rotation. We'll have your third rotation highlights and get you set for Georgia on floor, Boise State on beam when we return to Athens after this.
You ready?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Beautifully done.
There's no resting in the SEC.
What a performer. Feeling like I'm levitating sky high, elevating hot sunshine. Yeah, I feel alive. Everybody's loving it. I'm just having fun with it. Living like a rock.
The SEC Conference looms 1 week away, but Georgia rounding into form here in week 2, Sarah, especially the back half of this beam lineup, really put together some terrific routines.
Able to overcome a fall and just put everything together, really get the ball rolling. Such unique gymnastics from Jeffrey. Love seeing her front tumbling on the beam. That's so tough to do. And of course, Lily Smith. I mean, just absolutely stunning gymnastics to watch. So fun.
And Georgia extending their lead As we look at the meet summary, Boise State held a small advantage at the end of one rotation after a 49-125 on bars. Georgia bounced back with some terrific bars of their own, grabbed a lead of just over half a point, and unfortunately Boise State having to count a few falls on floor. Georgia has really pulled away after their team score on the balance beam, and now they're going to look to finish things up in style on the floor exercise, and Boise State will try to get it back and take something positive with them from this meet on beam. Obviously wasn't the night overall that Tina Bird would have hoped for with the struggles on floor exercise, but now you see what this team can do on the other side.
Exactly, not the night that she would have hoped for her team, but some really great things that they can get back in the gym, really work on, and take away from this atmosphere.
Well, we have had many different Georgia alumni. We talked about the 2005 National Championship team being honored, and another Georgia great, the Distinguished Alumni Award. Noel Couch, your teammate, our good friend, the pride of Tuaco, New Jersey, being honored as the 2025 Distinguished Alumni Award.
And that award is voted on by the alumni, so we all just came together and say, you know what, Noelle, this is your time to shine. She had such a great career here at Georgia, was someone that was just incredibly reliable week in and week out, always competing in the all-around, and I think she had quite the hit record while she was here at Georgia as well.
Yes, she was one of those gymnasts that you could just pencil in every time. She had terrific, back when floor routines were really fun and told us stories. She had the Star Wars themed routine that we went out to LA with in her, I believe, senior season. She had a Jaws themed routine, always a fun and inventive, personality that came out on floor, and just a delightful human being on top of it all.
Exactly, definitely not shy when it came to the choreography, always fun, and I mean, incredible in the classroom as well, one of the smartest people I've ever met.
So very nice that on this moment she gets to come back and be honored by this crowd, and it is just wild in here, having a party as we get ready to go to floor exercise. I mean, both of these teams opening with quad meets last week, on the road. Georgia in Denver, Boise State in Seattle. You don't get anything like this. This is a true SEC Friday Night Heights dual meet atmosphere. And even for the visitors in Boise State, I think this is what you compete in college gymnastics to be a part of. And you look at the road ahead for Georgia. My goodness, the SEC just gets stronger and stronger each season. Georgia at Florida next week. That will be one to watch. And then back at home in 2 weeks against Alabama, Auburn, Arkansas, Missouri. Every week is just a can't miss right now.
It is going to be an electric season, and buckle up because they've got a long road ahead and a lot of potential ahead.
Oh, by the way, the strongest conference in the sport, adding possibly the best team and best program in the sport in Oklahoma, the current #1 Sooners. So the road to an SEC title just got that much tougher as we go to the fourth rotation here in Athens. Boise State on beam, Georgia on floor. We begin with Alyssa Boulage.
Alyssa starts off her routine with a unique gainer back handspring to lay out, step out. She is a fourth-year starter for this team, so very comfortable in this leadoff position. Her coaches and her teammates really trust her, feel like they can rely on her week in and week out. Coach Bird was very complimentary of how she works, being very commanding with her dance. Great beam workers should look like they're actually just doing work on the floor, but oh, by the way, you're up on the 4-inch wide balance beam. Just the dismount left for her. What a great way to maybe set the tone and kind of turn the page as they move on to beam and try to get a good last rotation underneath their belt. Let's take another look. Great leap combination into that gainer. She feels really comfortable with that gainer work, and of course finishing with the 1.5. Nice work.
A perfect gymnast to be in that position, trying to steady the ship. You have a senior to open things up for Boise State, and hopefully a good beam set ahead for the Broncos. Now Aaron Williams, the junior, gets to lead off for Georgia on floor.
Aaron Here's another athlete that's very comfortable in the leadoff position. She's been here before. Opening double pike, nice control on the landing. Really dancing out of that front full. That is one area that you are still able to finesse your landings is on floor. You do have the option to do a dance element out of your tumbling pass, minimize the landing deductions. Final pass here. Finishes with a huge double tuck, no problems. Just a clean, steady routine to lead off this floor rotation. I think the Gym Dogs will be happy with that one.
Yeah, really sets the tone here. And Georgia, 49 flat on floor last week. Not a bad number at all, but I think one that in front of their home crowd, clicking if they can build on that opening score when we get it from Aaron Williams, they'll be in good position to top that number here tonight. Back over to beam, Sydney Coe had a 9.8 last week.
Fun opening mount. I always love when athletes do something a little bit extra instead of just hopping up on the beam, take that extra risk. Bringing it out to 2 feet. We asked Coach Bird, who is the unsung hero of this team? And she was quick to say Sydney. She just loves how she's really come into her own and started to really believe in herself and believe in her gymnastics. It's always nice to see an athlete kind of develop as they move through your program.
Started as a beam specialist. She's added vault to her repertoire in the lead off on that event for Boise State. She had a 9.7 earlier tonight.
Gainer full off the side. Nice job holding on to that landing. Take another look at that mount. Oh, that's so fun. And the gainer full off the side. You can see those toes squeezing the mat, so she gives the judges nowhere to take. Great work.
Back over to floor exercise. Emma Mason getting to step out on this Techman Coliseum floor for the first time. Freshman following an opening 9.85 from Aaron Williams. Emma with her first competition routine. She exhibitioned last week in Denver, had a 9.725 in exhibition, but into that top 6.
These lineups every week, it's a competition in the gym for who can fight for those 6 spots. Front through to double tuck. That counts as her 2 salto pass. Even though the elements are not in combination, they were done in the same tumbling pass. Two salto passes. Gorgeous combination from her there. You hear coaches say time and time again that championship caliber teams are the teams that have that depth and they have that competition within their own lineups. The athletes are working so hard and cheering each other on, of course, but really fighting for those top 6 spots every week in the gym and pushing each other to be better. And that's iron sharpens iron. That's how you really refine the lineup and have the best 6 up ready to go as the season gets into postseason.
And Sarah, to echo the point you made earlier, 2 passes in the routine, but you've got that wolf turn, you've got the triple leap combination. There's so much extra difficulty built in and stacked up in this routine to get her to that 10-0 start.
It's all about building up those tenths, starting off with that great double tuck, and we'll take another look at that second pass front layout, front twist. Love how she controls her landings.
Back over on the beam for Emily Lopez. Last year's Mountain West Gymnast of the Year, competing 3 events here early in the season for Boise State. 9.85 last week on beam. Just all conference on this event, along with the uneven bars last season.
Just kind of a steady Eddie in this lineup. Boise State has an interesting tactic on balance beam where they kind of put up their most experienced athletes first and then let the younger athletes go at the end of the lineup. They feel like it works really great for them, setting up and kind of instilling confidence in the back of the lineup if their returners can hit up front.
I thought that was a really interesting point. And Tina Bird has been doing this for a long time, 18th season as the head coach, even longer as an assistant coach on this staff. And a lot of coaches would be tempted, I think, to move Lopez and Loyam down to those 5 and 6 spots and let the scores build as the conventional wisdom dictates. And she said, no, we're just going with our best routines up front. We're going to try to take the pressure off of some of the younger gymnasts up there in the 5th and 6th spots, and working for them so far.
You can see for Emily, her gymnastics just really speaks for itself. Front toss in combination with the jump. Way to find that landing at the end of the routine. They utilize a lot of gainer fulls off the side, being able to get those sticks. Once again, looking at that series, gorgeous how she works through that. Perfect.
Boise State halfway home on beam, looking very solid here on the road. Back over to floor, the Shenge Boschkai, the junior.
She is capable of a lot of different tumbling passes, a lot of difficulty, but she opts to do more twisting in this college routine, which is fun to watch. You're not going to see the typical double salto passes. She brings some uniqueness. 2.5 punch front to start. Double full. To her, that tumbling pass feels a little bit simpler, but it's the name of the game. Just do clean gymnastics, find those landings, and get the big scores. Finishing up with the double pike. What a great way to finish out her night, her first night competing in Stegman Coliseum. We'll take another look at that twisting pass to start. She does 2.5 twists, straight into the punch. Double full. Nice work.
Back over to beam now, and the other of Boise State's veterans, the reigning beam champion in the Mountain West Conference, Emma Loyam.
Went 9.8 on beam last week. Capable of a really big score here. Triple series layout. She had to work through that a little bit, but you can tell that she's a veteran, how she really pulled that chest up to finish the landing. On beam, most of the battle is just not letting your mind wander, not letting that doubt creep in. She could have easily said, oh, I'm a little off, and come off the beam, but no problems. Love that switch leap to switch leap combination. Takes a lot of leg strength on top of the balance, and in her full dismount, oh, tiniest little foot shuffle, but wow, what a great routine from her, and good to just keep this beam rotation rolling for Boise State. One more look. Really had to pull that chest up and keep that triple series on the beam, finishing up gainer full, smallest little foot shuffle.
I'm going to give Boise State a lot of credit after a disappointing floor in 47-2 on that event. To go back over to beam now, try to close out the meet and find something. They have really rallied, and they've got 2 routines left as we go back over to Georgia here on floor. Freshman Nyla Aquino.
We asked for a word to describe this floor routine, and the coach just said, fun. So let's have some fun. Huge front through to double tuck. Really tried to pull those toes to the floor and hold on to that landing. Had a little bit more of an unconventional path into college gymnastics. She did a lot of Excel levels before transitioning into the Junior Olympic competition. Something that you don't hear about as much, but it was a path that really worked for her, and I would say she's doing some pretty great gymnastics. Finishes double pike. Just a little bit too much power on that. I would say that was pretty fun.
Well, and Sarah, you know, it's interesting because you mentioned that sometimes the dance element and the performance element is the last piece to come together for freshmen that are doing it for the first time in collegiate gymnastics. She has had no trouble adjusting. And in fact, that was one of the things that Cecile K. pointed out to us was the dance, and what she brings from a performance aspect is maybe the strongest suit that she has on floor.
The showmanship is just so impressive, and I can only imagine how that will really elevate over the next couple of years as her career goes on. But man, she's off to a wonderful start.
Over on balance beam, we have Julia Krzywanski.
Boise State, of course, hoping to just keep these hit routines coming. Finish off this competition on a strong note. Opens her routine with her series, no problems there. Really strong work. Strong and steady are actually some words that they use a lot in the gym. They work really hard to stay grounded and just do your best practice routine. You don't have to go up on the competition floor and be anything but yourself. Just do your gymnastics that you do every day. Working hard to pull herself back up from these little bobbles. Just the dismount. Small hop up on that 1.5, but good for her for really working through the routine, staying grounded, and getting another hit.
We're getting ready to go back over to floor exercise. 2 routines left in competition for Georgia. Addie Wall will be up 5th following the 9-8 from Nyla Aquino as we get to know a little bit more about Addie Wall. And Sarah, well, her favorite show is SpongeBob, but I'm going to skip past that and go down to Simone Biles as her favorite gymnast. How cool is this as just a kind of pinch me moment to be standing 15 feet from Simone Biles looking on as you compete on floor at Stegman Coliseum is pretty special.
Well, I'm sure if you had told her at the end of last season, hey, by the way, Simone Biles' coach is going to be your coach, and then Simone Biles is going to come watch you compete at a home meet, I'm not sure that she would have believed you, but I can guarantee you that she is soaking in this moment as she opens up her floor routine with a giant E-pass, full in. It's been really fun to watch Addie develop from last season and then starting off this season strong and just really gaining in confidence and starting to really come into her own, believe in herself, believe that every time she goes up, she can get a really great score for her routine, for her team. Her teammate hyping her up for this next pass. Can't stress enough how much endurance is a factor here early in the season. No problems there. Just incredible work.
And you can see the reaction, the celebration from her team. They know that that was a good one. Addie Wall delivers here in the 5th spot for Georgia.
Gorgeous full in to start, and then check this out, front tuck through to a nice high double tuck. Solid.
I thought from a tumbling perspective, probably the best that Georgia has had thus far, and setting the table for Lily Smith in the anchor position. One more counting routine left for Georgia. Over on balance beam now, the final routine for the Broncos, Sydney Leach. She had that tough fall on floor. I'd love to see her bounce back and cap off this night here for Boise State on a positive note.
Yes, and we mentioned that she doesn't quite have as much experience over here on the beam, but looks like she's not letting that get to her. She really works hard to pull up that series. The combination, the judges, of course, looking for a 180-degree split. That was a pretty good way to finish, really working through those routines. I think this Boise State team will be happy with finishing that rotation, staying on the beam, and certainly looking forward to getting back in the gym for some refinement.
We'll see if they can improve on that. Drop score at the moment is a 9.55 from Kuzronsky as we get to know a little bit more about Lily Smith, who just brings that kind of lightness and that fun into her personal life that translates here into her floor routine, and perfect capper to the night here for Georgia.
Lily is a perfectionist, so every single movement, she focuses on those tiny little details in the gym, and my goodness, does it show. Just gorgeous dance to watch. She'll also open up her floor routine with an E-pass for handspring double full. Nice. She has shades of Lilia Pokopaiva, who's also in the building tonight. She was famous in the 1996 Olympics, floor champion, really had that classical ballet training, and you can see that in Lily. Just another person to be impressed by as these teams get to compete in front of a star-studded crowd. Just 1.5 to straddle jump. I think those legs, they don't just get to hip level, they're almost reaching shoulder level, showcasing that flexibility.
Just an extraordinary capper to the night. And a well-deserved celebration for Georgia on their home floor.
Take another look at that 1.5 to punch front layout. Look at that. Gorgeous.
And this crowd clamoring for one last 10 in front of Simone Biles and 10,000 fans. Georgia brought it here in the home opener as the number 15 Gym Dogs are going to get dual meet win in a season high. And Simone Biles here to take it all in, Sarah, and just add a little bit of extra excitement, a little extra pageantry to the proceedings this evening.
It was certainly a night that I think this Georgia team will remember. The crowd is definitely going to remember this one for a long time. It was electric in here.
Simone looking on just a few feet from the floor as Georgia finishes up. Addie Wall in front of her hero scores a 9-9, and Lily Smith capping off a terrific night for Georgia with a 9-9-2-5 on floor unofficially. We'll get the score momentarily as Georgia, massive improvement over week one, that quad meet at Denver.
Really ambitious
as they are going to tick toward a 197 as we look at the highlights from tonight, Sarah. Again, great start by Boise State, struggled on floor, but a lot to build on for the Broncos.
So much to build on for this Bronco team. They had a lot to be proud of. Really great bar and vault work. Beam, they pulled it back together. They'll be excited to get back in the gym, but check out these release moves and the sticks from Georgia on bars. Of course, Lily capping off an incredible beam rotation. And the power on the Georgia floor party. Really putting together a nice, complete meet. It was great to see them put together all 4 events tonight.
Well, Georgia looked like they got stronger as this night went on. They got more comfortable. The gymnastics got bigger, and as they moved to beam and finally finishing up on floor, just a terrific job as you see the 9-9-2-5 come in for Lily Smith, a 49-3-7-5 for Georgia. They improved by nearly 4/10 over their week one score at Denver and nearly a full point in the team score. 196-825 for the 15th ranked Gym Dogs, 193-6 tonight for Boise State on the road. And Sarah, it's a long road. We said how tough the SEC is, but for Cecile Cancuto-Landy in her first time here at Stegman Coliseum, I'm sure this is one that she'll remember, as will the Gym Dogs.
She will not soon forget. I think that it's really laid the foundation. There's a lot that this team can build on, and a lot that this program could build on. The expectations are high, but I would say that this team is up for the challenge.
10,000 fans on their feet tonight, and they got to witness a good one as Georgia improves by nearly a full point on their season opening score. They score a 196-825 and get the dual meet victory. Well, that will do it for us here in Stegman Coliseum. For my partner, Sarah Sailors, I'm Kevin Kopp saying so long, everyone, from Athens, Georgia, where the final score tonight in dual meet action, Georgia gets the win over Boise State, gets ready to head on the road to Florida next week and back at home in 2 weeks for an SEC showdown against the third-ranked Crimson Tide. Simone Biles taking it all in as Georgia gets the victory. All meets airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night, everyone, from Stegman Coliseum.